Oops. Is your conversation?
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
You know, I said on the radio Wednesday that you may know I'm an avid golfer. Doesn't mean I'm a good one. I'm an avid one. And I will tell you, I know the game well enough to know that when I hit an errant shot, and I know my swing well enough to know when I hit an errant shot, what I did to cause the errant shot. I think most golfers can relate to that. It's like you really kind of know what happened when the ball goes the wrong way after the shot. The problem is, do you know what you're doing before the shot so that the ball doesn't go the wrong way? And in looking at the election, I'm thinking, boy, I got a lot of smarts right now about what happened in that election. I'll tell you, I got a list this long about why this whole thing went the way it did. I might have known a little bit about some of those things and thought some of those things prior to the election results, but no. So there's a lot of expertise and punditry that comes post-election because people kind of know their golf games and they know the system and they know the way things work and they know how people are and they know what democracy is, and they know what politics is, and they know what Trump is and they know what Harris was. But now you got to kind of put it all into a space and figure out what does it all mean. Because guess what? You got to hit another shot. We're going to have a different pundit this evening, a pal of mine and a veteran of politics who doesn't really play in a political game anymore, but certainly is a great observer. You'll meet him in just a moment. But do I have to run this? I guess I do, in case any of you were under a rock over the last couple of days.
This will truly be the golden age of America.
President-elect Donald Trump picked up a win in Michigan Wednesday afternoon, sweeping the so-called blue wall states that were keys to Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign.
They came from all corners, union, non-union, African-American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American.
Harris called Trump to concede the race and discuss the peaceful transition of power. Theme she touched on while addressing supporters in Washington this afternoon.
We will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it.
Trump campaign officials tell CBS News they will start holding transition meetings immediately here in Florida, so they're ready to take office January 20th.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate.
Trump has said beginning on day one, he will give the order to round up and expel all immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. He wants to impose a tariff of 10 to 20% on all goods not made in America. And he says he will end the wars in Ukraine and Gaza.
They said he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
After last night, he'll also have more help enacting his policies on Capitol Hill.
We have taken back control of the Senate. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
Control of the House remains unsettled. It's the Democrats' last chance at providing checks on Trump's policy goals as he returns to the White House.
Yeah. So if there's a clean sweep, and it looks like there will be, it might be an unfettered opportunity to govern. It's also a no excuses 2-year period of time to please the American people, right? By the way, Rhode Islanders kind of bought in. Take a look at this headline. 39 cities and towns. Harris won. But guess what? Trump made big gains. And I noticed that my own neighborhood, my specific neighborhood, Trump won. Founder, owner of the new Harbor Group, David Preston, cut his teeth in politics working for Bruce Sunland back in the day. And if I let you go on about Bruce Sunland stories, we won't have enough time in the show.
That'd take up 2 weeks, at least.
So thank you, my friend, for coming in. So listen, this is a little disclosure. First of all, Dave and I are very good friends. Secondly, he actually proffered to me prior to the election day, hey, listen, if you want to talk about this next week, I'd be happy to do so. And you did have a few thoughts about how you thought Harris would win.
Yeah.
And so...
Like you, yeah.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah.
I will share in the... I never made a prediction,
Yeah.
but when people privately would ask me, I would say I think she noses this thing across. And you know, the popular thing was what? Either he loses and litigates forever, or he wins. But he won so decisively. This thing is. So what's your gut telling you?
So my gut tells me the same thing that it told me before the election, which is for Democrats, particularly post-Obama, it's a turnout game. Trump's voters are going to turn out and vote for him, which they have done 3 times in a row now. For Democrats, you've got to get as close as you can to Obama's turnout game in 2008, which is the gold standard, and avoid the catastrophic turnout of Clinton in 2016 and the congressional elections in 2014. And unfortunately for Harris, she was closer to Clinton in 2016 than she was to Obama, and frankly even Biden in 2008. Let me give you some numbers. So Joe Biden got 77 million votes last time. She's at 68 million now. She probably gets into the low 70s, so she gets several million votes less than Joe Biden.
And he got 81.
Pretty competitive. Then the
it's
gap's
81.
even more.
Yeah.
Donald Trump got somewhere in the low 70s last time. That's where he is now. He'll probably end up at around 70, mid 70s, which squares with the increase in turnout and vote that you see over the 4-year term as the population grows. So overall, and in a number of key areas, almost across the board, she just underperformed Joe Biden, and she didn't have the margin to be able to afford to do that.
Numbers don't lie. Why?
I think she had a couple of things, and you're right. You know, your hero Bill Parcells says, "Look, your record is what you are what your record says you are."
You scored how many points you scored?
Right. She didn't score enough. So why? So obviously, you know, I think, and look, I don't make the rules. I just interpret them for my clients. And so she had a number of headwinds. I think being a woman in America, candidate run for president, still there's a percentage of the population that's not up for that. I think being a minority, same thing. I think the combination of the two was a headwind. I think the president's lack of popularity and the difficulty for her of distinguishing herself from him was a headwind. And I think the perception, not the reality, but the perception of the economy with the hangover from 2 years ago where we really had tough inflation, which by the way is now down to 2.4%. The perception of the economy was a serious headwind for her that the combination you just couldn't overcome.
I thought they did an awful job in explaining inflation. I mean, I can do it in one sentence. Inflation was the payment for saving the economy. We flooded the economy post-pandemic. We flooded the economy to save the economy. There comes an interest rate with that. There comes a fee. The fee was inflation. You know, we have this incredible amnesia about what the pandemic provided. I think the trauma was so big that we've just flushed everything we want to remember about it.
Yeah.
They did an awful job of explaining it. And she was pandering to the idea that she could fix grocery prices. I don't think that was the best she could do in terms of maybe an additional couple down payments on buying a house and money for the crib. Those were her big economic policies. It didn't stick.
It didn't stick because the hangover from inflation, which was traumatic, was still, that trauma was still part of the psyche. And they just never got over it. In fact, interestingly enough, on Tuesday night, I saw some map somewhere that showed where the gap between inflation and wage increase was the highest. And those, generally speaking, were the places where she underperformed the most. And so 2 years later, we've still got this inflation hangover. And by the way, the media has a role in this too. That's a whole nother show. But the media's consistent hammering on inflation, even long after it was a thing. And in addition to that, this fixation with a soft landing. Well, the American economy is the marvel of the world. We are literally outperforming everybody. Income's at an all-time high. The stock market is through the roof. Joe Biden's job growth was twice Donald Trump's. And so...
Although I think that figure is arguable in the sense that the pandemic, again, creates an opportunity for that.
True. But let's do this then. The non-COVID growth in the deficit under Donald Trump, 4.8 trillion. Under Joe Biden, only 2.2 trillion. So, and get ready for more of that too, by the way, if he executes even half of his economic
Well, his deportation
policies.
plan will cost more money than God.
And the tariffs.
You know, we're going to need some economic experts to come in on that. But as we go retro still in the blame game, Joe Biden made a huge mistake. He let himself, his ego, his legacy, miscalculation get ahead of what's best for this country. And he shows himself to be a country lover, and I don't doubt that he's a patriot. The truth of the matter is, he promised a transitional presidency, and he wasn't smart enough to say, you know what, I'm going to stick to that and trust the Democratic Party can run a competition to beat Donald Trump. He thought he was the only one who could. And then when the time ran out on him, and all of a sudden it proved that he wasn't capable, she had 3 months.
Yeah.
I mean, with all of these nitpicky things that we do with her, she did a pretty good job in 3 months.
You know, I used to say back in my campaign days when a candidate would say, so how are we doing? Are we going to win? And I would always give what I thought was the answer, but I would say, look, at the end of the day, when you wake up on Wednesday, there will not be one more thing that you could have done. You will not have any regrets. And frankly, this campaign that she put together significantly exceeded my expectations. It was significantly better than her seriously flawed 2020 effort. She really shouldn't have, campaign-wise, she shouldn't have any regrets at all. It was an excellent losing campaign.
What do you worry about?
You know, back to Parcells. So I used to work for someone, and he used to say, show me your budget and your schedule, and I'll tell you what your priorities are. Elections are a mirror and a window into who we are, whether it's a city or a state or a country. This election is who we are now, and it's significantly different than what we were 20 years ago even, and significantly different than who we were post-war, and frankly for the previous 200 years.
What's the difference?
I think this was a quote that struck me. There was a 19-year-old male Trump voter, and he said, whether or not he's a bully, that's not what matters. What matters is he can bring back the economy. And so you and I grew up in America where being a bully was a bad thing. Being convicted of sex crimes was a bad thing. Being convicted of fraud was a bad thing. The priorities apparently, and these numbers speak to it, are different now. Those things are a lesser of a priority and a lesser disqualifier. Other things probably look like.
So is it chicken or the egg? We've become transactional and he's the man to meet the moment, or he's been so omnipresent as a transactor that he's changed the culture of the country?
There's no question that he's changed the culture of the country. But it didn't start with him. I think the place where the gasoline started to leak out for the match that he struck was in the mid-90s with Gingrich, Fox, and Bill Clinton's character failings. And so the fuel started there. Trump just happened to come down the escalator in 2015. and strike the match.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about how this impacts us locally. Stay with us.
It's one Cranston. We're all in it together. One Cranston, one heartbeat. I've said that from day one. And whether they didn't vote for me or not, they still have to live in this city. So we need to continue to work together.
An interesting play there with Mayor Hopkins. He's a Republican. I think partisan politics in municipal settings is an overrated game. But he had a competitive issue there with a Democratic challenger and was able to win 52 and change. I think in part with this 4-point change between 2020 and 2024 in Rhode Island. Kamala Harris wins by 4 points less. Donald Trump gains 4 points across the state. Donald Trump wins my neighborhood. I literally check my precinct. My precinct is my neighborhood. He wins. So there was some of that. But, and I think you've got a lot of really keen expertise on how Rhode Island runs. What's the dynamic? Do states and big cities put blinders on and run their operations the way the political culture has dictated, or are they affected significantly? They're always affected because federal aid and da-da-da, but are they significantly affected by the sea change in Washington?
So,
in other words, can we bury ourselves in the Northeast in our blue state environment and just kind of live through this thing?
I don't, electorally, the national coattails, which is a phrase you don't hear very often anymore, but those things matter. So if you look at the Senate races, Casey's struggling to hold on in Pennsylvania, and Harris lost, and that definitely impacted the Casey race. It impacted Sherrod Brown's loss in Ohio. It impacted Tester. But here in Rhode Island, when in the rare instance like Cranston where you have a competitive race, the candidates need to factor those things into their calculus. And so it definitely does impact. I would suggest that if this were 2 years ago, if that race were 2 years ago with Biden's much wider margin, the outcome might have been different.
Okay, but I'm talking about going forward. For instance, Eric, can you just run through, we got bond questions. People don't want a constitutional convention, even though at the last minute I voted for it, because I'm thinking maybe the people can always, be a guardrail. It was a real tough call for me. I literally made the decision in the ballot box, but guess what? It got beat 2-1 anyway. But all the way through, just zip through them if you want to. The spending measures all passed, and your full disclosure, your company was supportive of a couple.
Right,
of them.
we did higher ed and we did the green bond.
All right, so people are generally generous with their taxpayer money if they think it's going to be well invested. That didn't seem to change at all in this dynamic. And you're going to soon see Governor McKee wrap those bond questions in a tight bow and say, by the way, thank you, because this is my 2030 plan. This is my 2030 plan. These expenditures are what I've been trying to tell you we need to keep doing in his plan. So I'm talking about the governance of, say, the state of Rhode Island. Does it change?
I don't think it changes because you've got so few competitive races.
We got enough money for the bridge, we hope, tucked away?
Let's hope.
Right? No, seriously. I mean, those are the things I think people are thinking about.
Yeah, I do think that going forward, you've got to factor in, the reality in Washington. I think you're probably going to see some downward pressure on spending. That'll manifest itself in the bridge. It'll manifest itself in Medicaid. It'll manifest itself in the spending, in defense spending. So you're going to see a lot less latitude spending-wise and a lot less benefit to Rhode Island spending-wise.
Some taxpayers are thinking that's the greatest thing they've ever heard.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. Be careful what you wish for.
Because?
Well, because you've got 5,000 people working at EB. And so if somehow or other there's downward pressure on the defense budget, that's going to have an impact. You've got people, my drive over here, 10 minutes from the office, can't complain today. But it's different at rush hour, and it could go on longer if there's downward pressure on the budget. We've got a real healthcare crisis here in Rhode Island, which is driven.
Don't worry about it. RFK is going to run the show in Washington.
In large part by Medicaid reimbursement rates that are just not up to the task.
Meaning in Rhode Island, we don't pay enough to the doctors, and we don't pay enough in benefits to be able to sustain a health economy, comparative even to Massachusetts.
Compared to Massachusetts and Connecticut, right. And so...
Okay, but we can make priority decisions to change that.
We do,
right.
right.
We can fix that.
We can fix it by increasing the amount of money that we invest, which
Correct.
will increase the reimbursement from the federal government. But when you've got all of these pressures on you, there's going to be some real impacts, assuming that the Trump administration is able to do what they say they're going to do.
All right, a message for those of you who have this really sick pit in your stomach and just can't seem to get rid of it. That was supposed to be like a special moment there. You got a pit in your stomach and you can't get rid of it? Let's see what David says about that when we come back. Stay with us. Adult Americans know what it's like. I think most of us know what it's like to vote and lose.
Mm-hmm.
But this one hurts really hard for a lot of folks who voted and lost.
Mm.
Some people have a pit in their stomach that's as large as a watermelon right now.
What do
Talk
you do?
about that.
So
I'm asking you to be a political shrink for 45 seconds, and that's all I've got.
American history runs in cycles. 80 years after Washington won the Revolution, Lincoln freed the slaves. 80 years after that, the greatest generation got through the Depression and won the war. Here we are 80 years later. And so while the physical dangers, it's not like we've got to storm the beach in Normandy or Iwo Jima, but we do now have to pay attention, and we have to be engaged in a way that perhaps the stakes were lower 20, 30, 40 years ago when we were still benefiting from that post-war generation. And so now, in my view, while the stakes are higher and the dangers are greater, I do also think that the opportunities are there for people to get more engaged in a more meaningful way, in a way that's focused on winning rather than posturing and feeling good. And so...
But for the everyday citizen who feels like this is the end of the cycle...
Yeah. Pay attention. Vote. Be patient with your friends and family members.
Right.
Avoid the temptation to either be condescending or doing an...
Get mentally ready for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, get mentally ready for Thanksgiving and be armed with facts.
Gotta go. Thank you for your expertise.
Yeah, glad. Thanks for having me.
Good to be hanging out with you. Final word when we come back. Just a reminder on that thought. Thanksgiving is coming. Deep breaths, yoga, maybe see your shrink. It'll be okay. For those of you who think you won, congratulations.